All right, you there, bud?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let you do the intros while I go post about this game.
We've got America, Alex, or jokingly playing Unicorn, Unicorn with Phoenix Splash up against Sruman, Canada playing Crab. Very sort of standard Crab Unicorn list. There are some spicy picks. He's added one Gaijin Customs, which actually is pretty good against Unicorn. But going down to two Defend Your Honors is probably something that Alex is kind of happy about, just not having to contend with three cancels towards some of his bigger events towards the end of the game. We do also see an assassination and a Way of the Crab in the Crab list. The assassination, kind of, a turn one assassination is pretty effective against Unicorn. Way of the Crab has a really hard time being effective.
Less effective, I would
Yeah.
say.
So Alex is definitely looking for have that Way
What
of the
uh,
Crab
what what
early.
what, what flop are you looking for here if you're unicorn against crab turn one?
I'm in. So I'd be fine with a border rider. I'd be fine with any one drop that I can buy, depending on if the crab player doesn't get a 3 cost platform to start building onto. I'd probably even disrespect with like a random 2 drop body like a Trailblazer and just try and go get some breaks.
Would you
Uh,
fate your trailblazer, or are you just not fading stuff on turn one?
if so one thing, even though there are 3 clouds, if Sruman goes big on turn one, like I would consider buying like a Tetsuko. Here I'd probably just buy the border rider, no fate and pass. Especially going second.
Is
I think
there
you just
a
buy the
or is there a spot where you pass here with without buying anything because your opponent just like spent all their fate on you?
it's possible. So like Alex is running 2 clouds in his list. So if he had like a if he were confident he could go Wayfinder Cloud, that way, maybe that way he doesn't have to worry about burning other actions to play like a charge or something like that. Then yeah, I mean with Shono in provinces, this is like a perfect charge hand. It just depends on if you get enough pieces to actually make it work. And Casada, that coming out, that does make it kind of awkward. Although you do have Windswept Yurt like right in your row, so
Or
if
you
you
can just
didn't
burn
care
that,
about
right?
the honor, like super necessary. Otherwise, you probably would want to. The 2 honor is actually very important in this matchup.
Yeah, like the crab list is a little bit odd. It's definitely made some accommodations to fit all these cards, like going down to two wayfinders. He's got a Daimyo's Gunby in his deck. He, yeah, the minus the Defend Your Honor. Imagine if you have Defend Your, like if I'm crab here and I have Defend Your Honor, I am so confident in buying this Casada with like one fate and then passing.
Probably.
And going to two fate, defend your honor, the thing, and then mountain my guy, like stuff like that.
Yeah. And the Gachin Customs does kind of help, although obviously not turn one here. I do think it's kind of interesting to only have 2 Wayfinder, especially
And,
having three
and three
clouds.
clouds, yeah.
That's kind of a strange accommodation, but he must have really wanted the Gaijin Customs. And there are matchups like you make fun of the Gunby. The Gunby is actually pretty effective in the mirror, for opposing Casadas.
Kind of, but
So
like both players are playing three clouds, and there's not that much to cloud in the mirror. Like it's
yes,
just
that's
witch
true.
hunters and Casada mostly.
I do see jokingly just pass and take the fate.
Yeah.
Which if he has the conflict here, he's running 9 conflict
I mean, he's playing
characters.
three
So
defender honors too, right? Or not defender, display of powers. So like,
yeah, like he probably would be absolutely ecstatic if Sruman attacked here. Sruman has already decided to pass his first conflict opportunity. A pretty safe choice. That's obviously the correct decision in this matchup.
do you just like, are you just super happy if if you're Alex here and you just pass all your conflicts and you just go up 8-0 fate going to the next turn,
It's not bad.
and then you're for honor at the end of the phase.
Yeah, you get for honor. Your cavalry reserves is automatically on going forward, and because you just pitch all of these guys. It, I don't know. I feel like you probably want to try and apply some pressure just to this Iron Mines, or at least flip over the province so you know it's there. I think that for right now, Alex probably doesn't want to attack until Sruman throws Casada at him.
Yeah, and like he's just not going to.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely prepared as America preparing for that to happen, right? For him to just not attack at all. Jokingly, probably, if he doesn't attack, he may just play an ambusher at the end of the phase
Here's a
to get the
Wayfinder.
favor.
Seas manicured. What's the province row for this crabless? Is it like what we were playing, or is he playing stuff like upholding authority?
No. So for the crab list, yeah, it's defend the wall
Okay,
and
so
illustrious
it's what's
forge.
become kind of the standard row.
Yeah. Still got gardens. Still heads along the river under box, which Alex will be pretty happy about because he'll probably be trying to pitch all of his captive audiences to spoils if he triggers them.
Yeah, Long River Gold is like worth like 2 points of strength usually in this matchup. Sometimes you
Yeah.
flip Chags for 3, but like it's whatever. I don't know. As a crab player, it kind of sucks not having rally, but on the same note, like I am also, as a crab player, me military also.
I mean, sure, but like in your experience, how good has Rally been? Or I'm sorry, but River been for you? Like
It's
when
better in other matchups, obviously. Ooh, Yurts
matchups.
for honor and finds the Chags. That's pretty sick. So this could just be like a really, really insane turn, right? If you can, you need an action for this Casada though.
Just gonna unless he drew the cloud, which would be a hilarious draw. Like if he drew Wayfinder Cloud and a charge, the
I mean,
unicorn
if he has
honor roll
Cloud, he
right
needs to
here.
do it. He needs to do it in that way. He passes his conflict opportunity.
All right,
I'm confused. Why did we buy this Wayfinder?
I'm not too sure.
Okay. You know what? Alex is just down a fate. Is all I'm seeing. If you wanted the Wayfinder in play like earlier, he could, or like going into the next turn, he could have bought it in the fate phase. So we'll just say that he's down a fate.
I'm not exactly sure what that Wayfinder purchase was all about. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if you're trying to keep something around just so you don't get way of the crabbed, like you just play this in Fate phase and it doesn't matter.
I mean, there's also like, your opponent has Casada in play, right? Like it's not like they have a great way of the crab targets.
I mean, they are showing, Envoy in row.
Yeah,
And
but
they're
like
not.
your entire deck is just like all idiots, right?
I mean, you're not wrong for sure.
He mulligans
Now,
one Chags and
I think it's
flips
kind
two
of
more. Buys a
if,
Trailblazer.
and he did mulligan the Shono. We just had another Shono pop up in the exact
Oh,
same
is that what
spot.
happened? Okay.
Yeah, that's actually kind of unlucky for like multiple charge and cav reserve purposes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so
Sure.
he could charge, Moto, he could charge Chags, and then he has a really good Cav reserves with Shono and Border Rider.
This is really interesting. So, like, because Sruman wasn't really able to bank any money on the first turn, he's just playing Envoy here and leaving Satoshi in the row, not really getting to bring him out this turn. Or if he did, would probably only have like one fate. I guess he just didn't want to two fate a
No,
Satoshi,
he
given
did the
how.
right thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could honestly just not buy the Envoy and just use Casada as your boy the whole round.
sure. I mean, do you think in the long run it would have been better for him if he hadn't bought the Kasada and just went Envoy and then have been able to bank really big into Satoshi this turn?
No, right? Because you could potentially lose turn one then. If,
Mm.
if you don't have Casada there and Alex has that Chags and he just charges Chags and breaks through your provinces, you feel like a dummy.
And there's no telling, like, because we didn't really see any conflicts there or see any hand play, there's really no way to know if Casado is really what, was the deciding factor of keeping Alex from actually
Yeah,
attacking it.
exactly.
So,
We see Crab employing their newly restricted newly restricted card Spyglass by being very smart and drawing two of them in their top 14. When I play Crab, every time I draw two Spyglasses on by turn two, I feel like it's just the smartest person in the world.
it's incredibly hard to beat, turns out. Now, something to look out for. Casada does only have one fate, so, obviously highly likely that he's leaving play next turn.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
You know?
That is the core precepts of the game. Is that characters are impermanent, right? Like that is literally in the description of the game.
Oh no, Awares. Kasada's very afraid of it, of
Uh,
course.
for those of you who are kind of maybe new to the game or just haven't heard us cast that much, we're clearly joking. One of Crab's themes right now is they have the ability to what's called save their characters, and so it's going to be cards like Iron Mine, Vanguard Warrior, Reprieve, and then Rebuild for Iron Mine, which basically allows you to keep characters well past any turns they should have died.
And they've restricted Spyglass, so at least they can't draw a million cards while they're staying on the table.
Yeah.
Or if they do, other deck building considerations, yada yada. There we see the Cloud the Mine.
So I like pre conflict clouding because it gives you better action equity. You know what I mean?
I guess against Crab it really doesn't matter so much, right? Like that Cloud the Mine is staying on Quesada for forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Especially after you double spyglasses, right? You're just like, all right, cloud this guy. Let's accept the fact that this is going to be the character.
Yeah, well, and this crab list, like a lot of crab lists, do not run Maya Mystic because of the Imperial trait and it interacting unfavorably with Satoshi. So yeah, I mean this cloud will literally stay on Quesada forever.
So it is unfavorable and it's also favorable. So for instance, my deck list that I updated, I have 2 Mia Mystics on my deck list now because of cards like Cloud the Mind and we're seeing a surge in cards like Pacifism entering the meta, where you need to have a way to potentially deal with stuff like that. So
for sure.
I have 2 Mia Mystics. It also combos with the new Void Province, Gateway to Mido. So
yes, of course.
That's another reason to play them.
I do think that whenever Gateway to Mido opens up for play on Jigoku, we're gonna see Maya Mystics, or at least the numbers of Maya Mystics definitely increase to at a minimum of 1, in not if not all crab decks that are running that province. It's just too good.
Or Mido Mittens? I need you to you're gonna have to tell me how it's said because you're clearly the expert.
Like mead the drink.
You just spelled it for me. That doesn't tell me how to say it. Is it like this? Is it like Is it like that or is it like this?
Mido.
Mido. Okay. Cool. Thanks, helpful person in chat. Unlike Mittens. All right, so we see a curved blade come down. We've seen some big military numbers come out here. Pretty much what this whole game is going to revolve around is just like double-digit military numbers running into each other.
Yeah, it is going to be a huge problem if he's not able to win here. But I would think if you charge and you'd at least be able to win the conflict. I mean, depending on if you're Alex, the reasons that you'd let this conflict go are if you have more drops, more 1-drops in your hand that aren't Goblin Sneak, and you also have Captive Audience in your hand, so you can attack, flip, and get another attack. But if we see him go really all in on this attack, it's going to indicate that line of play is not currently available. So.
Man, this is where you feel just gigantic brain for having the Assassination in your deck, and then you play with Scorpion and you're just like, holy shit, I wish this was anything else. But we see Talisman. He could go to Shameful for a 2 strength buff. He could go to Forge for potentially finding a Watch Commander.
Yeah, Watch Commander was most likely the deadliest thing that you would see here.
So we see
Reprieve really doesn't matter that much.
We see the restricted keyword coming into really good effect here. Sruman's not able to put any other restricted attachments onto his character because he has 2 Fine Katanas already. So we're not going to see any more stat buffs come onto this character, I think.
Sure, and that is important. There is a Jade Tetsubo in the deck, right?
Oh, I was joking in the fact that he has 5 stat buff attachments on this character, and if you put a Watch Commander, it would be 6. So there's one of the 2 Defender Honors. I wonder if Alex just has double Cav reserves. So Alex, what are the numbers here? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, that's probably bigger than Alex's guy. Okay, so we see a 5-1. Oh, it was actually kind of close. Right, so it was 14 to 13.
Yeah. Huh. It's interesting bids there. So, I guess the concern here is that if there's not a charge in Alex's hand, oh no, it's
Oh, there's
just
just a
another
second
cab
cab
reserves.
reserves.
Yeah.
Look, when you have 12 fate, you're ready to throw 3 into the garbage.
Right.
So there's a mountain in Kasada. Really, really unfortunate because this character is just gonna block all 3 conflicts this turn.
Yes.
He is attacking
Well,
Earth. If,
that
if
is.
if he has like a charge on Chags, maybe this does something. The problem is that he put all these attachments on this character that's not gonna be ready. So it feels really awkward.
Yeah, and like Sruman actually did exhibit a good amount of self-control there, waiting for Alex to really commit way more into this battle before and it represented an opportunity that he would even use his box before using the Mountain Does Not Fall. Now, having the Mountain Does Not Fall being activated on Casada is just a really huge bummer because it's going to be basically impossible to get through this body on more than one conflict this turn.
What is waiting for you to even do though to play the mountain? Like your first action could be mountain, and there's nothing Unicorn can do about it.
I mean, it's just like, does he need it? Because if he wins on defense, then you don't even really need it.
No, you
at
do
that
because you
point
don't
in
have
time.
any way to attack then. Like
I mean,
you could just pass through till there's no conflicts left, and then you just do your water challenge. If you're gonna win the challenge, right? And then if Alex displays its water, who cares? And if he doesn't, you get a keeper.
I guess I don't know. I honestly just wasn't thinking about putting equity into thinking until like turn 3. But that is relevant.
I mean, it gives you your spot. I don't know. You're playing Turbo Mountain, like you gotta use them at some point. Also,
Sure.
also, if you don't mountain your character and then he plays like a Goblin Sneak or like something that can attack and then captives, you then have to waste a fight on.
Yeah.
Whereas on second player turns, you just basically want to be spamming mountains. So we see a
So
Spoils of War.
yeah, we did see a watch commander come out from switching the battle over to Illustrious Forge. Alex does have 16 honor, so
He's about to go to 15, so because of
yeah.
the interaction. Watch Commander, really cool. It hangs around. It's like a bad fart. It lingers around while you try to do something else.
At the quote unquote end of battle. So,
Yeah.
it also works on display of power
Yep.
for those of you unfamiliar with that interaction. So,
Cause yeah, go home bout is like one of the last things you do in battle resolution. So the character is just there. He's just watching you. It's like that song. Somebody's watching you. So discards an ambusher to spoils, and there's the watch commander ping. I mean, I expect Sruman to bid 1 for the rest of the game now.
I mean, he's going to have to, or else that watch commander will do nothing, right?
Yeah, and you have double spyglass already. Like unless my hand is like really terrible, I'm probably bidding 1.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that you lay the double spyglass in crab is usually the indicator for everyone in a 10-foot radius that the dial on your bid is not going to be increasing over 1 for the rest of the game.
Yeah, basically.
So, I think, well, obviously, unless Sruman plays a conflict character here, which I doubt, we'll most likely see him pass his conflict opportunity here. Oh, all right, there we go.
It's like really dangerous. I'll probably just attack air.
And that's what he's choosing to do. So he's making some solid plays here, playing conservatively and
Well,
not
you're just
just.
playing a triple display of power, right? So you just want to attack air.
Well, sure.
Like it's like air or fire are both fine to attack. The other two are basically not. You can't attack them. So we see a skirmisher at strength of 2 because of the Cooney Lab.
Yeah, Cutie Lab's pretty good against Unicorn also.
Yeah.
So
when you're just throwing idiots at each other, when one person's idiots have +1/+1, it makes them smarter.
yeah, Canada's hand is pretty solid here given their situation. I'm kind of thinking that there are 0 charges in the top 20 cards of Alex's deck.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Look, sometimes somebody draws 2 spyglasses, and sometimes someone draws no charges. It happens.
Yeah, you don't want a lot of Kote rounds not drawing charge.
Oh, that's cool.
all I
So
know.
this is a cool interaction here. So he uses Border Fortress to flip over his rally to send the skirmisher homebound. That's kind of cute. I like that.
And he won't really need. I don't think that if Crab's already getting to your box in this matchup, then you've already lost
Yeah, you've
anyway.
lost the
So
game.
he's not going to be missing that interaction later.
I guess you just attack fire here, because that way you represent display on the other rings.
I mean, yeah, if you want to try and deny him the money, right, and just have him attack into air again,
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't think that you can. You don't want to attack water because you don't want to give him the keepers, and you really, unless you're just so confident that you can make it through, you're probably not attacking void.
You could potentially
So
pass your conflict opportunity and try and burn a fight on. Yeah, so this way if Sruman wants to attack, he has to expend a fight on.
yeah,
Sruman should attack fire, grab the fate, and then if it gets displayed, it's not a big deal.
I mean he's going to draw 2 cards with this attack anyway, so
Yeah, yeah.
like he should have the fight on or draw into it very
Look,
quickly.
man, if he hasn't drawn charge, sometimes someone couldn't have drawn fight on, right? Like it's possible.
That's not no. That's not how it works. When one person's getting screwed, the other one is getting all Gucci all day, man. Like the Jaigoku just opens up the buffet.
Blanking your stronghold province in this matchup doesn't matter, Mag Mage. Like it actually is kind of smart because your opponent's at 7 and like he's just gonna use the airing to pull himself out, right? Or he'll just drag you down. And what's rally gonna do against Crab? Like it actually doesn't do anything. Like Kasada is a 14-7. Oh man, I forgot about this. The addition to these the hovers. It's so good.
Yeah. I really shout out to the Jaigoku crew for adding some sweet overlays to the interface. Are very helpful.
No, you deny the ring though. Denying the ring is more important, and it does take away dishonor pressure from you. If you need to play cards in a watch commander, every single time you let an unopposed or airing, that's 2 cards you can't play anymore.
Like another important thing is like card usage. So like it cost jokingly virtually nothing to do it because it was all onboard actions, and there is like maybe the possibility that that Crab would expend cards trying to go after that same attack or whatever. It's just a smart play. To just kick the guy out of the battle for basically no cost.
Because like you just actually won't. Like you're not gonna flip the province because you actually have no political cards in your deck, so flipping it to political actually loses you the game harder than keeping it military.
Speak to the heart, not in current HMT decks.
Yeah. Or court games, not in current HMT.
That's a secret. Nobody knows that.
Is that really a secret at this point? When I play against HMT decks, I assume they have actual no political cards. The moment they play at court games, I have shocked Pikachu face. So you do Void here, and then you're gonna be sad when he fight-ons, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, there are censures in Alex's deck.
Well, he doesn't have the favor yet.
Oh, you're right. They tied last.
They tied on turn 1, yeah.
Boo.
Maybe on turn 1 he was supposed to play. Maybe it was a mistake that he played the Wayfinder with 1 fate because he had an ambusher that he discarded to spoils. Maybe he was supposed to play the ambusher on turn 1 and have and take favor.
Like I assume he drew into it. Otherwise, that would definitely be the play. And Alex has played ambusher before to secure the favor, so I don't see any reason why he wouldn't have done that if he had that opportunity.
All right,
so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we do see what we said. A fight on shows its face. Alex wins the favor. We're gonna see. Is he iron mining this skirmisher? I think that's really okay. Like he was considering it. It looked like that would have been the fastest. That would have been the fastest. Just getting my graveyards that I possibly could get. I mulligan the Kuni Lab here. I don't really need it anymore. Kasada's better than every single card in the Unicorn deck by himself. So it's going to take multiple cards for them to bother you. You flip a Iron Mine and a Broken Province, perfect, and you flip a Satoshi as another character. You even flip Palace against the Triple Censure deck, which is really sick.
It seems pretty good.
You just like Satoshi with like 3 Fate here and pass.
Yes, and then Satoshi just gives you what you need for the rest of the game. Is crab's in a pretty good spot.
I don't know when
Seems
Tyler
pretty
said that Crab
unbeatable.
wasn't better than all the other clans by a margin. I don't know. I see games like this and I'm just like, I don't know what any clan is supposed to do against this.
I don't know.
Like
I think
you could even say covert now, but the Satoshi's gonna mill and it's gonna find a favorable ground and then you can just rebuild favorable ground.
that's true. I don't know. I think the Phoenix can sometimes do something about this, right? Like you've got the let
Yeah,
goes.
specifically with Egina.
Yeah, right. Like you can start to double tap Eugenia with Ancestral Shrine, and that usually does quite a bit to eat away at saves.
Yeah, but then they just play a cloud on him, and you're like, well, I've got 3 let goes, and there's 15 attachments I need to kill.
Like I'm not saying
I'm not sure.
No plan
I'm not sure what I was supposed to do.
is perfect. You know, you gotta hope that you high roll and they low roll.
Look, I don't
you
know. At Seattle when I played against Phoenix, I just had my keeper initiate get Tetsubo with a forge and then bonk Regina. That was excellent. It was a 2-4. It was a 2-4 Regina with 3 fate, and he just like attacked my province, and I just like flipped over a forge, and I got a Tetsubo and I'm a keeper, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's got 4 now. I'll hit you.
Oh, that's hilarious too, because since you're getting it off of
Yeah, there's no
forge,
reaction window.
there's just nothing you can do about
Yeah,
it.
it's forge, attach Tetsubo, block. First action, bonk. Okay, we see a
That's dumb.
Wayfinder, which means I think we're gonna see a cloud, which is reasonable. Nergui is kind of annoying here.
Yeah. And Sruman has drawn half his deck, so it's reasonable that we would get to the Wayfinder Cloud portion of it sooner or
And
later.
there it is. I actually like fading my Wayfinders in Crab just because you need the clouds to be online. So like,
Sure.
I would have just like 2-faded this Wayfinder and then rumbled in on water and got my fate back. Like you can do Paul Water with Satoshi here.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, water is kind of risky because you can get your Kasada bowed. So if
Yeah,
I
I mean,
were
like,
fight on, I
you
would do mill water with Kasada.
Sr- Probably. I mean, I don't know.
Right, like
There
you
is
fade your
definitely a
Wayfinder and
display
then you do
power.
mill water with Kasada at the
That's
Chinese
fine.
province.
And you just go for the break and don't worry about the fact you're losing the ring. See, like that's
Well,
the
I mean,
I don't.
so like he's already played one, right? So like he could have another one, obviously, because he's playing 3. But if he doesn't, you're way ahead. And if he does, you're pinging him for 2 honor, and you're drawing 2 more cards through the spyglasses. I assume you're gonna see a fight on.
I don't think he wants to take the risk. I think he's just going to go for void, and because he doesn't want to run the risk of giving.
I
him
would go
keeper,
air
I
before I
guess.
went void. I like money. I don't know why you care about void. You just clouded this character.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's just a 2/2, and with Phoenix Splash, that cloud is going to stay there for a while.
Yeah, so
if not
this is
forever.
actually a learning moment. Anyone watching, so when you use Cloud the Mind on characters, and then you void them off the table or you remove them off the table, not only are you going down cards and resources for because you just basically play Cloud for a turn. The issue is if he flips another Nergui now, he then can buy that character instead of having to duplicate it. Whereas if you leave this character in play and he flips a Nergui, he has to dupe this clouded Nergui, and it's terrible.
Especially in those matchups where they don't run let go. So like I can
mean,
see
even if
the
they have
argument.
let go, right? The match, like you just have too many things to let go that if they're using let go on Cloud, you're fine.
You would totally void a clouded Tadaka, right? Like that would still happen.
Probably not. It depends on like I would probably still attack air with 1 fate here.
I guess that's a better yeah.
Yeah, like in this spot here, if that was a Tadaka with 1 fate, I would attack air because my Kasada is better than. The thing is, when you're playing Crab, it gets to a certain point in the game where it doesn't matter what your opponent's game plan is. Your game plan is better than everything else. And by game plan, I mean your one character that you've built up through the game is better than everything else. Literally, doesn't matter what else your opponent is doing. That one character is better than it.
Dare's Tower of Win,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Take
Like
your Tower
that
of
is
Win
one
and
thing
you
that Darren, when he was playing Crab, he came up with something that was actually useful, and it was Tower of Auto Win.
Yeah.
You take your Tower of Auto Win and you put it in every conflict you can, and you win. But the issue here is there's 2 fate on that water ring, and jokingly just can never attack it, or he just gives Sruman a bunch of keepers.
I mean, I think that they're both kind of in that position, right? Like,
Oh, I mean, Alex only has 1 keeper.
yeah,
Also, keepers don't matter for jokingly that much, right? Like, they're not cavalry, they don't have the right traits. Whereas Sruman, if he gets a bunch of keepers, can rebuild a lab and then use box, and they're like worth a lot of force.
sure. I'm just saying that it's obvious from play that Sruman is valuing jokingly not being able to display a power of the water ring, so he's gonna leave it alone too. Like, who knows if this water ring will get up to 3 or 4 fate before they actually attack
That'd be
it.
sick. All right, so Sruman passes a conflict opportunity. I think he's just being too he's being too passive. Like, you'll win the game eventually, but like you need to turn the corner at some point.
Yeah,
And this is a great opportunity to do so. Your opponent hasn't done anything. You can attack air, a ring that doesn't matter if it gets displayed. You can even send in, like, your opponent's not playing Endless Play and stuff like that. You can even activate Satoshi first to see if you find Karada District, which forces Alex to play his 1x Talisman on your character. And then you can rebuild Favorable Ground, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things you can do.
sure.
But
True.
not attacking is probably not one of the lines I probably would not have done. But I like money, so I don't know. Like, seeing 3 money in my crab pool, I'm like, yeah, this is not a lot. Like, if I want to buy a character and play more attachments, I need more money.
I mean, that that is if he doesn't keep this other Iron Mine and this Imperial Palace around for another turn.
Well, he's going to keep the Iron Mine and the Manicure Garden. I probably would ditch the Palace after I win the initial favor. And then if I really need to, I can rebuild it.
Sure.
Because, like, your Kasada's already... You also want to cycle your Dynasty cards right now. You want to see Kasada... So, you have multiple hits, right? You have the 3rd Iron Mine as a hit. 3 Vanguard Warriors are hits. Any Kasada dupe is a hit. So, seeing as many Dynasty cards as possible is actually really important.
Mm-hmm. I'm not... with Alex's graveyard right now, so, Shono and Border Riders is always grabbable. It would be nice if he could hit another 1-drop, or at least any 1-drop, so...
We just see a bunch of passes, and we go to the next turn. I think Alex, if Alex's strategy is to hope this Kasada ever dies, I think he's in for a rude awakening.
That can't be the strat. I mean, I don't understand why you don't just attack in air there.
I would replace this broken province with my Karada District, by the way, because I don't want to keep it. And then, like, if I need it later, I can always rebuild it because. Oh, he flips over his 3rd Iron Mine. That's tough. It was definitely still the right decision, but obviously getting punished is hilarious.
Yeah.
So you mulligan Palace and Karada here. Or okay, I didn't know at what point in the phase it happens. Like, jokingly, he's already played 2 out of his he's got 3 Katana, 3 of these curved blades, and he's got clouds, 2 clouds and a talisman, so he's already played 2 out of 7. Man, I'm so smart, right? You want to see as many cards as possible. See Vanguard Warrior.
Alright,
so you just dupe your Satoshi, you buy your Vanguard Warriors, you feel like a maniac, because, like, what's Unicorn gonna do?
Yeah,
and then you can even, like, burn this Iron Mine on, like, a Wayfinder or something if you want.
I mean, the nice thing here is that we do see a Moto Youth, which will allow for if you're wanting to try and style a Cav Reserves that gets Chagatai back, that's now a lot less awkward.
It
so
does
that's
have to
nice.
be a 3rd one.
Sure, it's the last one, but maybe there'll be like a charge into Cav Reserves type situation that will break 1 province.
Yeah. Here's the problem. What if you do that and then your opponent just plays Mountain and Kasada? Like, you break 1 province and then you still have to fight the Tower of Auto-Win for your next 2 conflicts.
Oh yeah, I mean that definitely seems super terrible.
You can't even depend on, like, Cav Reserve's Moto Nurgui because, like, he can just throw a Vanguard Warrior into that conflict if he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, early on in this game, Sruman did actually play around the display of powers pretty well, and that's usually one of the nice little trump cards that you have in this Unicorn Crab matchup. You know,
So here's another thing that I like. I'm gonna harp on because so unfortunately the gameplay in this game is very cut and dry. What you see on the board is gonna be a lot of the game. So I can talk about more niche things that affect like all of L5R. So you see
sure.
Sruman passed for passing fate. He went from 6 to 7, denying Alex going from 7 to 8. So instead of doing that, he should have just duped Mia Satoshi and freed up a province slot for his next turn. Because like the equity of going from 6 to 7 and denying your opponent 7 to 8 is so low that like you should just take your guaranteed value of duping your character. At least that's my opinion. Whereas say Alex had like I don't know 1 fate or 2 fate and like you're denying him going to like a bigger breakpoint, and all the rings have so much fate. So like passing fate here is means so little versus seeing one more fresh province slot while getting your dupe off. You know what I mean?
Sure, it also matters what your opponent has already played and what you're predicting them to play. Since Alex has already played 2 Cav reserves, there's not a whole lot of really huge fate needs for his hand going forward. Like he probably could play 2 charges in a Cav reserves for 5 fate if he's already at 6. Keeping that one away from him isn't going to keep him from accomplishing whatever game plan he
Yeah,
has
Alex
left.
could even just attack air for 2 fate also, right? Like if he doesn't want to do the water gambit, he can just attack
Sure.
air and go from 6 to 8 right there.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with your assessment there, and it is important to point out those little niche things because small little edge cases like that, you put enough of those together, and you eventually get a card's worth of value that helps you come back from behind.
Yeah,
It's
it's these
the little
small
things.
scenarios where I think so I do appreciate that people have gotten better about passing fate and they've started to value it higher. I think I think people have gone too far in one direction though, and some people they've drilled in their mind that if I can get passing fate, I should take it. Whereas instead of you should see why you want passing fate, right? Where
Sure.
when you pass for fate, people say passing fate is so good, but you have to ask yourself why is it so good, and
Well, and
like the
And we started to see that last year with like Scorpions, we have a province roll full of stuff and like 16 fate and still passing,
yes,
and
gotta go to
it's like
17.
yeah,
And then
and it's like
they don't have anything big to buy in their hand anymore. Like their Kachikos have been played or discarded, and then they're like, "Man, I died with 22 fate in my pool. What happened?"
yeah. So like luckily we don't see that kind of extreme anymore, but definitely still there's always room to grow in terms of just fate analyzation and why you're making the decisions that you are
Yeah, yeah, you
choosing to
got me,
make.
McMage. Good on. I have it on good authority that 17 is more than 16. Yeah, he does hit appealing to the fortunes. So, Dark Black appealing to the fortunes is actually a terrible hit here, unless Alex has the display of power, because if the way this works is you'll put your character into play via appealing to the fortunes, and then the ring effect will resolve afterwards. So, if he doesn't have display of power, Chags will enter play, and then it will be bowed by the watering.
I mean, he most assuredly
Oh, gotcha, Dark Black.
would have a second. Now,
I mean, you're hoping he has a second display, right? But like, he
we're
could potentially not.
we're seeing one of my favorite plays in L5R, which is attacking your shit to the crab guys. So we do see a talisman come down
Yep.
from Jokingly. Wonder to bring him over to upholding, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. This feels to me like he doesn't have display of power.
Or you just want to use it later, right? Like maybe there's a specific card that you just want to get out of their hand. Maybe more fight-ons or mountains.
Another small edge case scenario that I think a lot of crabs should get used to doing is when you're attacking your keeper ring, you should activate Mia Satoshi during the conflict to potentially hit more keepers.
Absolutely.
I actually think Sruman will mill his whole deck here because he's actually hit all of his Imperials.
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. If he's playing the standard number of Imperials, this is actually every Imperial has been used. He'll flip his deck right now, which is like a good thing and a bad thing. So like,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah, I think it will.
the question is like, if you flip your deck and then get displayed, it's like really annoying.
I guess that's true. Because then the next turn they'll all be put up, right? They'll all be tucked back in the deck.
Oh, he rebuilds the Satoshi so he has an Imperial hit. I don't know. I'm really cavalier about milling my deck. I love doing it. Because like spots like this where you, especially when you've been won the whole game and you're like a 15, 16 honor, like against Jeremy in at Seattle, I recycled my Dynasty and Conflict deck and still had 8 honor left.
I mean, yeah, and likewise, Sruman will have quite a bit of honor here should he cycle. It's really more about just is he going to actually get the keepers? Should he cycle his whole
So
deck?
he cycles everything but one card. He should replace his. So you've committed yourself to not. Oh, he's so smart. He replaced the keeper. He's way smarter than me. So I was gonna advocate for replacing the face down card because you've already shown that you don't want to duplicate your Satoshi.
Sure.
Clearly, he had the heart of the cards. So there is the display.
Yeah, so he displays, gets to see the hand, sees if he actually has a chance.
We have to take out the fight ons if he has them.
And there is only one, but there are 2 Mountain Does Not Fall.
Oh, those are Gaijin customs and 2 mountains. Yeah, Alex is super dead.
So for you unicorn players watching, kind of like how we were talking with Satoshi, if you're attacking your keeper ring and you have Yurks face up, that's the correct time to use them.
Yeah.
Because it has happened to me a non-zero number of times this week that I'm high and I forget to use it, and then later in the turn I use it and it flips up a keeper face up. I'm just like, God damn it!
You know that like what happens is it's a different card, and then when you don't do it, a keeper magically swaps places, right?
So keeper gets their wings.
Yeah. The keeper shows up and he's like, "Bitch, I'll show you not to use that yurt." Alright, so Alex does get a keeper. So he actually gets rid of the mountains, which I actually like. This will force a fight on and a Gaijin customs for some defenses.
For sure. I mean, and that's all the fight ons.
No, there's still one more, right? Yeah.
All the mountains, and there will be one more fight on.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really burning through the defensive cards. That's solid.
Actually, I think Sruman made a mistake here. What he should have done is played one of his mountains.
Before he went into upholding.
No, so like after
right?
you moved to upholding, your entire hand is all singletons, except for the mountains. So all you have to do is play the mountain onto Kasada, and then you're golden because you lose one card. If he doesn't take a mountain, you have it for next turn, or for later in the game. And if he takes a stand, you still have one more stand, right?
Yeah, and the important point about the Mountain Does Not Fall, it just works on the phase. A lot of people tend to pigeonhole on the exact time they're going to use it.
Yeah, they're like,
really,
I gotta use it while defending.
Yeah, but if you just use it when the fuck ever, it still just does its thing for the rest of the turn. So yeah, knowing those tricky little timing windows about the Mountain Does Not Fall.
One of the reasons that Crab can play against Phoenix a lot better now is the Tadaka errata allows you to just play Mountain and rebuild in the pre-conflict window, and then just kind of look at your Phoenix opponent and say, what are you gonna do about it?
Like against Tetsuko, right? You're pre-playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another good spot against Guest of Honor. You just play Mountain Does Not Fall literally as the conflict phase starts, and you're like Mountain, Mountain my tower of auto win, and then that's it. He is mountained, and so that will basically last the whole phase regardless of if it was defending or anything. So
let's think about some lines here. So I mean, you definitely, as Alex, would prefer to not burn your if you use your last cavalry reserves here, you're basically already dead.
Well, you can't,
right?
You if you play cavalry reserves here, you have to be 1,000,000% sure you're gonna win the conflict because Kasada's gonna get fought on, right?
Well, yeah, yes, and not. In my opinion, I don't think you can use your cav reserves until the turn you're winning, or at least getting on box. But I mean, at that point in time, you probably still die on box. Like
Alex got to 4 honor here, and he didn't even go air. Like I think that's a little greedy to go. I love a good Earth Ring. Don't get me wrong, but leaving air open for your opponent to take also, because your opponent's just gonna crack back political air with Satoshi on appealing.
I mean, he's just gonna display a power that too.
Whatever, like displaying airing when you're low on honor is like not even a great. It's a stopgap, right? It's +1 honor. And if Sruman has drawn a second Watch Commander, he plays Watch Commander and Satoshi. It's like it's net 0 honor.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. I probably just would have gone for the extra fate. Like I also like Earth Rings, but two fate is two fate.
Yeah. For the people listening, you'll notice a trend here. Chris and I, we like money. So when it is presented, when money is presented to us, we usually just go and take money.
Yeah, which number is bigger? Oh, this is a really hard decision.
I won't say, or I'll say that I have definitely lost games by the greed and taking something that had money on it because money, and it was definitely wrong. But I got paid.
Oh, I'm trying to be more cognizant of it just because of shrine
Yeah, that's
shenanigans.
fair.
But no, I mean I still tend to go for the money pretty heavily. Those Phoenix decks, they're expensive.
Yeah,
They
especially when you're trying to fit multiple pacifisms.
I don't know. I'm watching this game and I'm feeling the two pacifism. It's got to be correct,
I mean,
right?
if you did it, if you did, if so if for instance, so Alex on Phoenix Flesh, he could be playing pacifism right now.
Sure.
Shout out to my buddy Zach Matthews, who messaged me the other day, and he's like, "How crazy is pacifism in Phoenix Splash?" And I was just like, "I don't know, man. Go test it." Like that's why I think Krabs should just be playing Mystics at this point.
Sure.
If he just had Mystic for this Cloud on Kasada, like that's just more equity too. Oh yeah. Dark Black. There's two talismans, so there's the. You could have talisman to defend the wall potentially, Dark Black, but you don't need to. Why are we sacking our Vanguard Warriors now?
Yeah, so they don't get clouded, I guess.
There's only
I
one
don't
cloud
know.
left, and there's no Shigenja in play, and uh, like it's
I
not a
don't know.
bad look.
It doesn't matter.
It kind of does, right? Because the Void Ring now. Yeah, okay, so there's the Watch Commander. So the Void Ring does turn does become a little bit more enticing. Whatever. So Sruman's just like showing off now. This is the point of, like, it's not even his fault. Like, this is just the point of the game in Crab where you're spinning the basketball on your finger and you're just looking at your opponent like, are you gonna come get it? You're playing 1v1 and you're just standing at half court spinning the ball on your finger, just like going, yep.
Yeah. I would say that there was definitely probably some unlucky draws. Like we didn't see a single charge resolve for Alex early in the game. Being able to apply really early pressure is kind of really important in this matchup. Like you want to be in that position to break like 2 to 3 provinces in the first turn. Just to give them as little time to set up as humanly possible. Unicorn is powerful, but they're not beating Crab on turn 4 powerful.
Yeah. So like, normally I'm very loath to call games over in L5R, but at the end of turn 2, when you're Crab and your only broken province is Illustrious Forge, and you have your Tower of Auto Win already set up, I feel like I could never lose.
It's pretty hard to lose the double spyglass setup, and even if this
he flipped the Watch Commander with the Forge, right? Like he basically this is what we would describe as having it all.
yeah, like because this Kasada could be anything. This could be a Borderlands Defender. It could be whatever idiot, but the same amount of cards stacked onto it, it would still be just as
It would
oppressive.
still just be better than everything that Unicorn can do, or it would be
Yeah.
equal to 3, 4, 5 cards of what Unicorn is doing.
Sure.
So we do see
The Unicorn
Superman
is having to
purposely
consistently play
reshuffling his
every
Dynasty
turn.
deck. He could have not done that, and he could have just bought this one character and gone to 0 cards, and then attacked and then gone for water again and get the triple keeper. I'm really greedy. I probably would have done that. Flips, yeah, because he
I
flips
mean,
his Kuni Lab here also.
yeah, but so like if you don't buy anything here and you go for the keeper, I guess that would have been better overall, right? Like you still get a whole bunch of stats.
Yeah, you end up with 6 force.
Instead of like the 4 that you're getting with the Borderlands Defender. That's interesting.
We know he has a rebuild in his hand also, so like he actually should know what all the cards in his deck are. Like he should have known what the last of his provinces cards were, so he should have known that he would be flipping his Kuni Lab. And then you could rebuild a second Kuni Lab, and then your keepers are 9 force.
That's silly.
I mean, it's
Well,
interactions like that, the Crab Stronghold and Satoshi that I just don't ever see Crab being successful without a keeper role. Like they're definitely the clan I think that abuses, Steadfast Witch Hunter. If they start playing Funeral Pyre again, like Keeper Initiates are like they might as well be a Crab card.
sure, sure. Yeah, because of their playstyle and Satoshi just being Satoshi, did in a crab incredibly well.
While we're waiting for Alex to unfortunately die here, we can talk a little about people who were asking opinions on the restricted list. I think Spyglass being restricted is a perfectly acceptable card to be on the restricted list. There are two other options I think that were merited thought, and that was Watch Commander and Mia Satoshi. I do think that Watch Commander and Mia Satoshi would have hurt the deck more than restricting Spyglass, but I could see I accept that Spyglass is I accept Spyglass as a acceptable nerf.
As far as just attachments that draw you cards, I mean, I don't really. It's going to be hard for them to continue to explore that space for as long as Spyglass is just like available, since nothing will be as good as it ever. Or if it is better than that, then that's obviously a mistake. Satoshi being restricted, I would actually be fine with, because I thought this guy was broken from the moment I saw him, and not because of any particular interaction, but just because I think this type of effect that allows you to dump your entire discard pile or deck into your discard pile just shouldn't be around in games. Like it will be abused in some way.
Like graveyard manipulation has never been broken in any game ever, i.e. Dredge.
Like I just think I think at some point in time down the road he will be restricted, and we could all just stab ourselves some time.
Mech Mage and Dark Black. So rebuild is far more than saves. I think a lot of people are tunnel on rebuild, and a lot of people who are saying to take Spyglass over rebuild are just seeing rebuild as an iron mine, and that's just like so far from the case. Over the course, like since the Cream Pack came out, I've rebuilt Favorable Ground, Imperial Palace, and Cooney Lab more than Iron Mine. Like not close. I rebuilt Favorable Ground more than Iron Mine.
Yeah, and just think about in the mirror, like, do you want to be playing against another crab deck and not be able to rebuild your Karada, like, at any point in time?
Yeah, rebuilding Karada District, like, there's just, rebuild is, and rebuild costs 0. Again, we like money, and when one card doesn't cost me money, also rebuild has.
We also like graveyard manipulation, so that rebuild does that for 0.
Have you seen the Hogak deck? In Modern?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's
I understand what the weaknesses of that deck are, and I still don't. It's care. Not even like it's
so. The weakness of the deck is Leyline of the Void. My friend and I, we had never played the deck, and we borrowed it, and we played it in a league online with it, and we beat turn 2 Rest in Peace multiple times. Opponent played turn 2 Rest in Peace, and we already had like 18 power on board.
The thing that surprises me about Hogak is not Hogak existing himself. It's them deciding to put Altar of Dementia into Modern.
Yeah. I've
seen
dumb.
that. I've seen that card be super, super dumb in a lot of different instances. Mostly in bullshit commander settings, but where there's a will, there's a way to abuse that card, and people found it really super.
To be fair, I think it's the combination of both. I think if Altar got printed and then Hogak didn't exist, like it would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, until something came.
Dredge, right?
I mean, the only thing here is that they printed them both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like Altar eventually would have been broken by something that came out. They just cut to the chase and released it now,
Oh, yeah, Wally the Deer points out, rebuild turns on True Dasuki and Shuichi. Agreed 100%. There are a lot of times where you just need to turn those guys on. I just think rebuild, like... Rebuild is such an insane card. I don't think people realize how good it is. So we do see charge on Dayu. So we're just seeing a military attack with the Satoshi. Interesting that he went military instead of political.
Yeah. So just so everyone understands what's going on right now, there's 5 characters on Alex's side versus 1 Satoshi, who Satoshi normally just has 2 military skill.
So we're at 9 to 11.
Just a normal thing.
It's Khan's okay, my bad. I forgot what this province was. I always forget this province exists, by the way. without fail. So he gets the HMT trigger. I think Sruman made a mistake there and not breaking. He could have just won the game, right? So if you just send Kasada, if you just send your Tower of Auto Win at that province, and you just get the break on the fourth province, you then just Gaijin customs your Kasada and you break the stronghold. Like you let the Unicorn player get his break, and then you stand Kasada and break the stronghold.
Maybe that was a little. I mean, that attack definitely could have been stronger. Maybe that was overcautious.
Yeah, I think that was definitely overcautious. I think if you go for the kill there, you basically win the game guaranteed. Because like, because it's Khan's Ordu, also your Kasada on stronghold attack is on military.
Sure. Which I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's always nice to attack into Unicorn as political, but it really doesn't matter at this point in time.
Like Alex can play a grand total of 3 more cards in any conflict that there's a watch commander, and so he has to pick his favorite 3 out of his 13.
Yeah.
Like, it does buy him another turn in doing it this way, in Sruman doing it this way, but like it also doesn't matter.
So one thing about the Spyglass argument that is kind of interesting is on the Unicorn side, people are talking about construction of Shiro Shinjo decks and whether or not they'll continue to use Spyglass. And I was thinking about it, like losing charge out of Shiro Shinjo, it feels like whenever Dragon ran charge and it was like
yeah,
nice,
you played it because it was a really insanely strong card, but not because you needed it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice to play
I remember my
charge.
invitational deck had like 1 or 2 charges. Like, I wasn't even on 3x charge.
I think it was 2, right? Like 2. I think 2 is the number.
I think it was 2. Yeah, I remember it not being 3, and I remember looking back at that deck list, going, "Man, I really just didn't have anything good to charge." Man, I love that tournament. I remember I got to play against you and Bill back to back in like 2 awesome games.
It was a good time. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I had some really good games against Jokingly and Shut as well.
Yeah.
And then I completely just fucking biffed against Noman because I'm the worst player in the entire world.
that was the one chance for that was the beginning of the glory that was the Phoenix pre-RL1.
Yeah.
And then it got taken out back and just like murdered.
Oh, half your deck is all of these restricted cards? Yeah.
But yeah, like people always want, so we were having a discussion actually about what just like the best deck that this game has ever seen was, and I think the actual answer is Dragon pre-RL2, but I think in terms of potential it was definitely Phoenix pre-RL1.
The Dragon deck was just like the row was insane, you know.
The thing
like,
was, the Phoenix deck never got solved, which is why I don't think it was actually better than the Dragon deck. I never saw a fully tuned version, and I'm really biased because I beat it twice with Dragon.
Happened. That did happen.
Yeah, but no, that Phoenix deck was really ludicrous. Just I remember Bill beat Kingsley in Kingsley lost the game on turn 1. It was like charge Fire Elemental Guard, charge Fushicho, bring back Fire Elemental Guard, break 2 provinces.
That was my turn 1 against Jokingly. Like, I'm mad at Hyrule. I even furied into a Kasada trigger because I'm just the worst player and I still won that game. No problem.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, shit. I forgot that I got to play Fury too. Jesus.
Just the most ludicrous.
And everyone
Hyrule
was playing Fury, and you got to play 6 against the waves to counter their Furies.
KI, man, can't beat it. So good.
That meta was interesting. I think that might be a really fun meta to go back to, like in like a year.
Just like do a
just like do like a quick
meta.
do like a small invitational tournament with people who have been playing for that long. And yeah, exactly, Jasper. You had pre-Arata Tadaka, who could be brought back by Fuchicho. Like you could do charge Tadaka, charge Fushicho. And then, the bird brings back Tadaka. Yeah, I think for people who were playing back then, like do a quick flashback tournament with like pre-RL1.
Like charge Fushiko policy debate. Yeah, that was definitely the play.
Yeah. Bill saying don't forget rap battle. I think that deck would easily be the best deck in that format. People would also learn how to build it a little bit better too, and now that we kind of have established the concept of flooding the board with shugs and getting +5 storms, like you guys weren't even doing that. You guys were just like using storm as like +2.
Well, you had to have your naive student in there. I couldn't not draw a card.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And now you go back, you're like, man, nice student, get out of here, not a Shigenja.
So let's see here.
We're seeing some big military numbers. We see 2 characters versus 5, and the 2 characters are winning.
I mean, I know that he's not in a spot where he could play it even right now, but I do miss Jin for shit like this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would love to play Jin right now and then lose. I would do that 100%. I would just be like, I'm out, peace.
I mean, but at one point in the time, Alex was at a massive number of honor comparatively to where he was now. If you're playing a game where you have Keeper of Fire and you start out the game with a Jin in your hand, you probably hold back on some of your bids so you can play it in situations where you're trying to force through.
Bill is pointing out he had some +7 storms in the game versus me. I do remember those. It's because I think it was a 5 Fate Suki on turn 1, by the way. I'm pretty sure it was 5 Fate Suki turn 1, and because everyone knew I didn't play Assassination, and Bill just was like, he just put it on the table, and he's like, look at it. Man, I actually have so much. I can't wait for the end of the tournament season to come, because it's just gonna be a lot of fun playing in the final tournaments, and then some special interactions at Worlds we're gonna have. It's just gonna be a blast.
Absolutely, Worlds will be a blast.
So, I'm still waiting for Alex's big, trump card play here. So Alex has bid more than 1 in in these turns, and he's drawn less cards than Sruman. Showing you the power of Spyglass.
So he does have the favor, so he could play Cavalry Reserves and force it through a Defend Your Honor. So we do see Shono and elected. Most likely Sruman's trying to decide if he even gives a shit enough to Defend Your Honor this.
By the way, the Phoenix deck was guaranteed the best deck because that deck actually could play Consume by 5 Fires and Embrace the Voids.
Oh right, yeah.
We didn't even do Bill, that you couldn't play Consume by 5 Fires. You got Seeker at Gen Con, and that was after RL1. So you could play Embrace the Void though.
Yeah, but we only had Keeper of Water at that point.
Yeah, you could only play Keeper of Water. But I do remember Bill, right after they got the roll at Gen Con, Chris was watching those games. Bill was busy memeing me with double Embrace the Voids to Consume by 5 Fires, and those were some of the most annoying games I've ever had to play.
I have to assume that there's an assassination.
Yeah. There's no other reason you're asking this question, right?
Yeah, which
this is the worst, right? If you're Alex, you're just like, oh, I guess I'm one of these guys is dying.
Yeah. It's like the Sophie's Choice. Choose one of your children.
Yeah. Jokingly saying, assuming he's getting murdered. We're seeing a Gaijin Customs continuing to spin the basketball on his finger. I'm not sure why you're Gaijin Customsing your Satoshi when you can just do it to Kasada afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna rebuild? He's gonna rebuild Favorable Ground, maybe.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, because if you win this conflict, then the game is definitely over-ish. Personally, because even if Alex wins, you still probably just want to use your Gaijin Customs to go run into Stronghold, right? Well, I guess no, because the Talisman hasn't been used yet.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Which goes back to our point of the first attack.
Right.
So it's 30 to 21. Is Alex gonna win this conflict? Oh, he wins! Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Dark Black. He actually could censure the Gaijin Customs. He would have won though. Yes. Sruman shuffled his Dynasty deck, Ronnie. All right. So that conflict was actually really big for Alex to win because he got basically 3 honor. He got the Pride trigger plus 2 honor from Air.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if he had lost that conflict, that would have been basically it.
See, the thing
So
is,
he
like,
does.
I get that Sruman wanted to play it conservatively, but he would be doing his winning attack right now if he had just
Sure.
decided to play more aggressively.
So now she and Tomi encampments on.
Where do you
So even
stand?
if
Do you just stand
you
Tetsuko?
just yeah, Tetsuko 100%.
So
Because like
you
with
just
the
lose your fourth province, right? And then you stand Tetsuko?
yeah, so like you don't do anything here. He goes in to attack the Konzordu. You stand Tetsuko. Um, Tax and he doesn't have anything. Plus, he'll be first player next turn. So, jokingly, has been upgraded from dead to Snowball's chance in hell.
Someone's saying that this encampment's been used already. I don't believe so. I didn't see because like oh no it was used to ready Dayu. Yeah, you're right, Dark
Okay,
Black. Yeah, he used it on the
understood.
Dayu he charged in the first conflict. Let me check, Ronnie. I
Well, then I'm not
there's
really
there's
sure
one
why he
display of
decided
power
to
left.
stand the border.
Yeah, I don't know why we
Okay,
stood the border rider here. Cause
because now
he can go
you just
water, right?
yeah. So like you for whenever you have stand effects, especially stuff like encampment or whatever. Um, you always want to use it after your opponent, or not encampment, but like on character stands, like Border Rider. You want to use it after the water ring has already been used, so they can't just bow it. That's why appealing the fortunes can be kind of a dick punch whenever they're attacking you in on water. I mean, does he think he's going to save the province? I guess he just didn't want to lose the honor.
Wait, but now he. Oh wait. I see. He stands Kasada. Oh right, sure. All right, Alex has been back downgraded to dead.
Yes, he's definitely dead.
He did not have the third display of power. It looks like Ronnie. Even if he did display a power there, he. Oh wait, so a Karada District shows up. Karada District can steal this fine katana and put it onto the Borderlands defender, which I probably would do. I would steal the katana on Tetsuko, and then next turn you can steal the curve blade off and just kill it. No, he
Sure.
definitely has Fate Dark Black. He had 7 Fate. Oh, you're saying no Fate for the display of power. I mean, even if you display that ring there, you lose 2 honor, one from the Watch Commander, one from the unopposed. So it's like not even worth it. I'm noticing a trend here, Chris. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Unicorn board seems to have been going away every couple of turns, and the Crab board has not.
Yes, no, that
Isn't that
that can,
aren't the characters supposed to leave play? Like we're
I
going
didn't
into turn 5 here, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but this Hida Kasada was bought with 2 Fate. That's only 3 turns of use.
Okay, so major misconception here, right? And I think that this is a mistake of marketing. So when the articles about the game first came out, they made you believe in that sort of impermanence concept. But
Yeah.
marketing got a lot of things wrong back in the day. Just looking about like some of the things they said about Taturi and Hitaru's, reactions, ring reactions, right? They said it worked on defense. So definitely, we'll just have to chalk that up to multiple
To be
things
fair,
that
I
they
have
got
heard
wrong.
that in playtest, the playtesters were playtesting it that way because that is how it initially worked. And then kind of how Unicorn got ninja nerfed at the last second, Taturi and Hitaru also got nerfed at the last second.
All right. I mean, I guess
So
that's fair.
so specifically I have heard that in early playtesting they were working that way.
Okay. So, in the same way, they were probably testing the game with an impermanence factor, and then at the last second, they added crab and took that away.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Well, I mean, to be
once
fair, in core they only had
gets
reprieve,
wrong with
right?
it.
They had reprieve of Vanguard Warrior, and then they had rebuild already there. And so, what did FFG do? But they printed them Iron Mine, and Iron Mine being a holding comboed well with rebuild to equal up to 6 more saves.
When the game when Core first came out, it was such a fun and naive time because you look at Rebuild and you're like, man, this card.
Yeah, rebuilding core is actually just still sick, right? You can cycle
Yeah,
it, or you can rebuild favorable ground. Like you can rebuild a funeral pyre, like that. It's sick.
and you're like, man, this card. I'm pretty sure this card fucks, but it'll probably be like a while before they print something like busted
Yeah,
with it
next set busted.
because it's just so obvious, And yeah, man, they released it really early in the cycle of this game,
the
just right
worst the
there.
worst part was I was playing Game of Thrones and I was playing Greyjoy, so I had Iron Mine also, which is what L5R literally copied a card from Game of Thrones. Except in Game of Thrones, Iron Mine is so much worse because it doesn't save you from sacrifice effects or discard effects because those aren't kill effects.
Sure.
So when I got marched to the wall, I was like, "Are you sure I can't? Are you sure?" Well, I guess march to the wall specifically says can't be saved. I think it was like Ramsey Snow or something. Yeah, it was Ramsey. It was Ramsey. I got Ramseyed, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna use Iron Mine, right? You're way of the crabbing me. I should be able to use Iron Mine. It works like this in L5R.
It's the same way like Varus, right? Varus like remove like discards or
Oh yeah,
removes
it
from
says
games
discard.
like that. Yeah, and you can't Iron Mine from that shit either.
Yeah, because it
So
says discard, not kill. Iron Mine specifically says when one of your characters will be killed.
yeah, no, this Iron Mine is definitely much better.
Way better. All right, so we see Censure on rebuild. Wait, but he's doing it in the conflict, so he's just getting pinged. Rebuilds a Cooney Lab. Like as meaty as this game has been, and like towards the end we haven't really taken it that seriously because Alex has just been unfortunately dead. We see a captive audience, so he's gone on a 3. I do think this is a great example of how I think Sruman has played super conservative. He's played a little too conservative for my taste, but he played the early game basically perfectly in terms of not attacking the display of power, setting up his tower. Like he managed his fate properly on turn 2, where he didn't buy Satoshi. 1x breakthrough. That doesn't even help him because all the crab characters are still standing, and there's the talisman. TK Brick, I believe that Crab is still a top tier deck. I need to play around with Gateway Tomato some more to really see where they stand, but I still believe Crab is a tier 1 deck.
Yeah, I mean,
I have Crab Crane, Phoenix, and Scorpion all near the top. I think Phoenix and Crab are a little bit better than the other 2 decks, but those are my top 4 decks right now.
how obnoxious is it going to be if that Gateway to Mito plus broker stuff really is just like point and click, pay 1 fate to do these broken things
Well,
over
it
and
is
over
that
again?
because I was testing that. I tested that last week at locals just to see if it was easy to set up, and I just like Satoshi'd on turn 1, and then on turn 2 I passed to like 10 fate, and then he attacked me, and I tells in there and I bought broker out of my graveyard first, and then I bought the Vanguard Warrior, and I just ended up with a fated broker afterwards.
You know what? That's how ridiculous I am. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that you could just buy the broker out with the game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the game
exactly.
with Mito just sets itself up the entire time. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So Alex has
GG's
actually died, unfortunately. So round 1 goes
provinces.
to Canada.
So he got in there. All right. Well, thanks for having me on, bud.
Yeah,
we'll do
thanks
some
for
more.
casting.
Later, bud.
Yeah, later, dude. TK Brick, I'll just quickly point out that a lot of people say that towers are a problem. This is the first meta that a tower deck has actually been the best deck in the format. Literally every other best deck in the format has not been this. So, I don't know. I agree that towers are a problem, but like it has only started to become the problem now. So, take that as you will. I think a lot of people like to complain about them, but then they don't look back in terms of what has been performing and realize that this deck was never the best deck until that happened. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I had a really good time casting with Chris. We'll see you guys at next thing. Follow through on the Worlds Playlist YouTube channel. I'll be uploading all the games there.